Hello, everybody.
Hello.
All right, are you Jason Graves?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Looks like there was a bond forfeiture bench warrant for you in Butler County District Court case number 23 CR 44.
Yes, ma'am.
There was also a motion for judgment on bond with A Mama, who was your agent, your bonding agent, but I don't see and it looked like it was set for hearing, but I don't see an order of judgment against them on here.
A Mama.
It looks like this case maybe has never been resolved either by plea or trial.
Last time was 8,000 bond on it. I know I had to pay 8,000 cash. Then last time I couldn't show up because my phone got destroyed the night before and I was homeless. I'm sorry about that. I'm very sorry about that. That's my fault. I will never do that again.
Okay, well,
I just need a cheaper bond.
your next court date is April 1st at 8 a.m. Do you have a current job?
Yes, ma'am. It's just a cash job. No. Yes, ma'am. It's just a little odd and end job, maintenance job. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well,
I don't need it to be very much. I can't get out to get to work. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and appoint Darren Patterson to represent you. He might have been appointed previously.
Yes, he was. Yes.
It looks like there's a prior failure to appear. What's the recommendation on?
I didn't have a place, ma'am.
Looks like Judge Webster issued a no bond hold.
Who's that?
That means she wants to see you before you're allowed to post any kind of bond.
I don't know about that, ma'am. Never heard of it before. I don't know Webster. I don't know. Never heard of it.
Your Honor, in 23 CR 44, Darren Patterson has been appointed in that matter. It has always been before Judge Webster. This has a history of failure to appear, so I believe a no bond hold is appropriate.
Well, this is a person crime. It is a misdemeanor, but it is a person crime.
Which one was that?
I'm going to keep it at a no bond hold and get you an expedited court date of February 16th at 1:30 in front of Judge Lee with Mr. Patterson.
I can't make bond.
Nope. You missed too many times because you missed court too many times.
Dang it. I was needing to get out, ma'am. If I could work.
I understand that.
Please, ma'am.
I wasn't judge. I didn't issue the bond, but that's what happens when judges are assigned your case and you don't show up for.
I won't ever do it. I promise. Sorry, okay. I need to, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry. You can write a letter to Mr. Patterson. I don't know if he can get an earlier court date, but that's all I'm free to do is to honor her bond hold, but get you an attorney notified to represent you. And an expedited court date.
I can't get out, huh?
No.
Dang it.
All right. Hopefully Mr. Patterson will be able to make contact with you. We're adjourned on your case.
Well, Your Honor, there are two cases for Mr. Graves. Are they both on that date?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is that this other one's a misdemeanor too?
I can't bond out.
Nope. She only has the authority to do that when you fail to appear, and she certainly has the right to do it when you fail to appear multiple times.
I was just homeless. I'm sorry, ma'am.
I understand.
Dang it.
Okay. Thank you. You've got two cases that you're ordered to appear on February 16th. It's an expedited court date, and you will have an attorney present. Thank you.
Dang it.
This is the Butler County, Kansas first appearance docket of January 24, 2024. I'm David A. Rickey, District Judge. First case that we'll take up on this docket is State of Kansas versus Gregory Scott Fails. It is case number 2024 CR 32. Devin Canfield appears on behalf of the Butler County Attorney's Office in the state of Kansas. Mr. Fails appears at the jail's Zoom location. Mr. Fails, do you have a copy of your charging document before you?
Don't worry, he holds true to his name.
I do, sir.
You will see in count 1 a charge of criminal discharge of a firearm, a level 8 non-person felony. Count 2, possession of marijuana after a prior, a class A non-person misdemeanor. Count 3, possession of paraphernalia for use, a class B non-person misdemeanor. And count 4, disorderly conduct, a class C non-person misdemeanor. A felony is involved. You will not be asked to plead. Rather, a preliminary hearing scheduling will be made before your assigned judge, which is the Honorable Jan Satterfield. Judge Satterfield's next docket for that purpose would be March 18, 2024 at 2:30 p.m. You must
Yes.
fully participate in Judge Satterfield's docket at that time, March 18, 2:30 p.m.
That must be that's a felony or a felony?
Yes, the criminal discharge of a firearm is a felony.
Right, okay, yes, sir.
All right, do you have the financial resources to hire your own lawyer?
Not at the moment, but I will, yes. That's an important charge, and there's underlying circumstances that I believe are important on it. I will take it most seriously, yes.
All right, you'll need a considerable amount of cash to hire your own lawyer, Mr. Fails. I don't want you to show up for your March court hearing without a lawyer.
Should I go the other way and say that I need help, and that way, if I end up not needing a little bit, maybe, but if I don't have
You
to.
can replace the appointed lawyer with a retained lawyer at any time.
So that makes more
You're able
sense.
to hire him.
Okay, well, I don't want to cause any more trouble to the court, for sure.
I will appoint James Watts to represent you.
Okay.
Recommendation for a bond here, Mr. Canfield.
Thank you, Your Honor. State is requesting a $15,000 cash surety bond, as well as no contact with any and all non-law enforcement witnesses, a do not return to the El Dorado State Park, as well as no firearms.
Understood. That mean I must secure that before, otherwise I go back and to their jail. Is that right? Or
Yes, Mr. Fails.
okay, $1,500 then. Correct. I mean, generally it's 10%. Am I correct?
As a general rule, that's been the court's experience.
Okay.
I haven't set the bond yet, Mr. Fails, but it does appear to be a reasonable request under the circumstances. We will adopt the recommendation and set bond at this stage at $15,000, cash or a professional surety required, with conditions being that the defendant observe all laws, appear in court as directed, have no contact with any non-law enforcement witnesses in the case. You're not to be on the grounds of the El Dorado State Park as a condition of bond, and not be in possession of any firearm.
That's fair enough, sir. I was I believe I was under the influence of a rather disreputable psychiatric practitioner, and my behavior was extreme for sure. As far as the unit, they probably took it and stored it at the office. Can I have someone else take the truck then and get it, I guess, and take it off the grounds, or can I just get the unit off the grounds? I mean,
Well, obviously, if you make bond, you can make your own arrangements to do that. As far as your ability to be able to communicate with anyone outside the jail, that's up to the jail. That's not anything that the court is going to deal with here, Mr. Fails. So if there's nothing further then regarding the first appearance issues, the Gregory Scott Fails matter will currently be in recess.
can I ask you where I've been for the last since this occurred, where I've been located? I don't even know. I don't remember any of this. I was under the influence and I didn't even know it.
I presume you've been in the Butler County Jail, Mr. Fails.
That's where I was. Oh, that's
don't
why
know.
I'm asking. I don't know.
Nor do I. I just know that you're in the detention center facility right now. That's why you're on this docket.
That's, yeah, and I'm very confused about this.
That's your attorney information.
Okay.
All right. I think that we've conducted our business with Mr. Fails to the extent we can today. We'll move
Yeah,
on to the
that's
matter
true.
on the docket.
I apologize.
Go ahead. Let's go ahead and get up.
I thought,
That's yours to keep. Go ahead.
but if I sit right here, I gotta do
No,
it.
you're gonna go back to yourself. Go ahead and get up.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know how to do this.
It's all right.
I'm very confused because somebody's slipping me seriously good.
Ms. Fry?
All right, if there's nothing else, then this docket will be adjourned. Thanks for helping out, Mr. Andrews.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
Sorry, I was waiting because I had given the wrong meeting ID earlier. And I
Okay.
spent 2.5 hours waiting in the wrong room.
All right, on the record, we've just had Jonathan Smith pop in at 12:05 saying that he's been waiting in the wrong room. I don't understand how we end up in the wrong rooms when the codes are such, but it does.
I was given a different meeting ID whenever
Okay.
I had called the court clerk twice and my mother called
Okay,
called herself.
well,
She got a different meeting ID than the one I was originally given.
you're given
Your
the
Honor,
wrong codes, I get it. Yes, sir.
I don't believe this is my case, correct?
No, he's pro se.
Very good. In that case, Your Honor, I'll leave the meeting and have a good day.
Oh, I think I know why you were given the wrong codes, maybe. On the record in 2023 TR 1471, State of Kansas versus Jonathan David Allen Smith.
Just when you thought that all the cases were over, we get surprised with this fine young gentleman.
Devin Canfield, it is now 12:06. This matter was set for 9 a.m. on a motion for judgment on bond. That's probably why you had the wrong codes. You were given the codes for the hearings you were supposed to have attended, one on July 12th of 23 and one on November 8th of 23, each of which you failed to appear. And they would have had possibly different codes than today, maybe not, but motion for judgment on bond was sent over. Mr. Regier didn't know that he had service, must have had service, or the defendant wouldn't have appeared. So the defendant is here on a motion for judgment. Where have you been, Mr. Smith, all this time, since February a year ago?
Honestly, I've just been working here in Valley Center, and I am so sorry. I'm really bad with the whole Zoom thing. I didn't really learn how to do the video call thing. I got out of school before that started.
Well, you could have always come to the courthouse. You didn't have to come by Zoom.
Is that actually an option? I thought this one was still full Zoom because they just kept giving me Zoom.
It's Zoom, but you're always welcome to attend in person.
Okay.
Well, you've had 3 failures to appear. You had one July 12th, one November 8th, and one today. So, Mr. Canfield, this has been continued. He's back before us. What do you want to do on the motion?
We can either plead as charged to a driving while suspended first and a registration violation, or set it over to that June 3rd if the defendant would like to attempt to obtain counsel. I'm not sure that issue has been taken up yet, since he has not once appeared before the court.
Yeah, he's never appeared.
So I'm gonna be entirely honest about this, Your Honor. My license was suspended at the time.
All right, before you go there, it's 10 minutes after 12. You were supposed to have been here an hour and 12 minutes or 10 minutes ago. But because you've missed the first 3 hearings, you've never had what's called a first appearance. And I'm going to make Mr. Canfield and either Clerk Jen or Clerk Savannah or both and Court Security hold over for a special appearance for you. First appearance. They don't get to go to lunch because you showed up late after 3 failures to appear. So, first appearance, count 1. You're accused of driving while your license was canceled, suspended, or revoked on February 18th of 2023 in Butler County, Kansas. If you don't have any prior convictions for that, you're looking at a B, non-person misdemeanor. Now that means, are you still with me?
Mhm.
Okay. That means if you were to be convicted, you could serve up to 6 months in the county jail and you could pay a fine up to $1,000. In count 2, you're accused of not having insurance or proof of insurance on that vehicle when you were driving in Butler County on May 18th of 23. Also a B misdemeanor, but it carries penalties. Anywhere from a $300 to a $1,000 fine and up to 6 months in the county jail. Do you have any questions so far about your charges or penalties?
No, Your Honor.
You have the right to an attorney. You can hire any attorney you want. If you cannot afford an attorney, you can apply for a court-appointed attorney, and if you qualify, one will be appointed to represent you. Or you can waive your right to an attorney and represent yourself. At this point, what do you want to do concerning the attorney?
Could I try for a court appointed?
You can apply for a court-appointed. Where do you work?
Casey's.
And is how many hours a week at Casey's?
20 to 30.
How much per month do you make?
Crap. 1,300 to 1,400, somewhere around there.
Okay. Do you live on your own?
No.
Who do you live with?
I live with my parents at the moment.
All right. Do you pay any rent to them?
I am about to be starting that.
Haven't paid any rent?
Again.
No utilities?
No.
Any debts? Anything you have to make payments on?
No, I have some court stuff in Washington County I have to finish paying off.
So you've got a conviction out of Washington County?
Yeah.
What's that for?
Possession of marijuana.
How much do you still owe them that?
Like 250 or so, 250, 300.
Are you on any kind of reporting probation?
No, I'm not. I have to deal with some stuff with them, so I have to figure some stuff out with them. I'm not entirely sure on this.
So you're not sure if you're on probation in Washington County?
Things get really confusing being named a Smith, and I have to call them, and so.
Do you have an attorney in Washington County?
No.
Do you think you ought to get one?
Don't believe so.
So if you're making $1,300 a month, you don't pay any bills, you don't pay rent, mortgage, what do you do with your money?
Honestly, I try to keep my truck running.
Okay, so you have a truck. What kind of truck?
Well, it's completely broken now, so now I'm trying to get I have a Silverado that I'm trying to get fixed. But I had an S10 that broke. The engine blew up.
Well, it sounds like if you're not repairing your truck, you should have $1,300 that should help you with attorney fees a month. How many months have you been at Casey's?
I've been there since February of last year.
You've been there a year, but you don't have any money saved up yet? Or do you?
I have some in an investment account, but I can't really access it.
All right, how much do you have in your investment account?
I've got like 2,500-ish tied up and all that. So.
And why can't you get it out to use towards an attorney fee?
Because I would, one, be losing money, and two, it takes jumping through a few hoops to get it out.
Well, it seems to me if you've been making $1,300 a month without any obligations, and you've got enough to put $2,500 in an investment account, you ought to be able to hire your own attorney. So at this point, I'm going to deny court-appointed counsel. And you'll need to hire your attorney. If you want to get an application for court-appointed attorney down at the courthouse and have me take a look at it with more details, I can do that. But from what you've just told me here, it sounds like you ought to be able to hire an attorney, but I'll sure be happy to take a closer look at it in writing on paper if you do that. Where do you live? Do you live in Washington County?
No, I live in Valley Center.
Oh, you told me that, Valley Center. Well, that's pretty close to El Dorado. You ought to be able to get that. And if you don't have anyone that can drive you over, have the clerk email you a copy of the application and then send it back to me by email. So when's our next court date, Jen?
June 3rd, Your Honor.
You'll need to be back here June 3rd at 9 a.m. by Zoom. Make sure you got the right codes. If you're not on within 20 minutes, you better call the clerk's office and find out if you've got the right codes or not.
How would I do in person?
You just get someone who can legally drive to drive you over to the courthouse and come in and tell them I'm here for court.
So just be there at 9 a.m. then?
Maybe a little
Okay.
before would be my suggestion. Yep. Okay, that's a good question, but anything else? Do we need to have you booked? Were you arrested on this bond? Were you arrested on this warrant? Did anybody arrest you?
Yeah, I got arrested in Washington County for that.
Okay.
So, like, I got arrested for the failure to appear in Washington County.
Well, you had two failures to appear, July and November. Okay. Anything
Yeah.
else, Canfield?
Your Honor, the state will move to withdraw the motion for judgment on bond. I would ask that the bond remain 1,000 cash surety with the added condition that he appear at the Sally Port for the next hearing. If not, the understanding will be the state will request a no bond hold.
The court will make that the order of the court. We granted motion for judgment that will be set aside and your bond will be reinstated at 1,000. But now you're being ordered as conditions of that bond to reappear at the courthouse in Butler County, June 3rd, 9 a.m. And if you fail to appear, next time you may not get a bond. You may just be held until this is resolved. Any questions, Mr. Smith?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You're released at this time for this limited purpose.
Have a good day. I apologize for suspending your lunch.
Thank you. All right, folks, we'll be adjourned. Thank you all.
Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.